and good morning, and welcome to VSA Capital 5-Minute Morning Miner on Thursday the 20th. And quite a few results out today, actually, so I'm not going to waffle. Paul, let's get going. Let's start. Anglo American is the big one. We better talk about that.
Yes, that's right. Two significant announcements out from them. Not only the full year results, but they also had a separate announcement of signing of a memo of understanding with Chile state mining company Codelco for the joint development of their operations at Los Bronces and Andina in Chile. Those two porphyries then will be considered under a joint mine plan in order to both for synergies of operations as well as uplifts of about $5 billion they estimate in pre-tax earnings over the period of the agreement. So it's best in this particular case being close in operations to each other that they be worked more or less as a single development program. In their full year results, the sale of steelmaking coal and nickel were agreed, which were generated up to 5.3 billion in gross cash proceeds. The underlying EBITDA was 8.5 billion, with margins stable at about 30%. They focused on their cash conversions with attributable free cash flow of 1.7 billion versus just zero point 0.1 billion in the prior year 2023, but they did have a loss attributable to shareholders of 3.1 billion dollars, and that as a result of impairments they took against the various operations like their De Beers diamond subsidiary, which came to a total of 3.8 billion, and their net debt came in flat at 10.6 billion. So the divestment operations we've been seeing in recent announcements over the last several weeks indicate the management is getting on with right sizing the business here. They did declare a dividend for the year equal to 64 cents a share, and that's consistent with their 40% payout ratio policy.
Yeah, look, I mean, they are sort of getting their act together and have been now for a little while, probably since the sort of start of 2004, which was their low point. Stock's up 80p today, actually, almost 3.5%. So the market obviously likes what they've got to say. So, yeah, seems as though they are cracking on with it, and actually not bad sort of necessarily recovery play. So there we go. All right, keep going, Paul.
Yeah, can do. Rio Tinto also, after the market closed yesterday, came out with their results. It's the smallest full year underlying earnings they've had in 5 years, and that on the basis of the iron ore price being down, which was otherwise outweighed by growth in their copper and aluminum operations. Total revenues came in, or total earnings, I should say, came in about $1 billion less than a year ago at 10.87 billion. And it works out that they paid a final dividend at $2.25 a share, which is about 20 or 32 cents less than a year ago on the fourth quarter, being a full year dividend payout uh, of $4.02. But that is the lowest that they've paid since 2019. They will also have three directors step down at the end of the AGMs for Rio Tinto PLC and Rio Tinto Limited, as they had 14 directors, which previously or currently, which is the maximum that they had intended to have during this period of transition, and they'll reduce it down to 11 people.
Okay, well, that's the big ones, the majors, shall we say, Paul. But you better crack on and talk about a few interesting, slightly smaller ones.
Yeah, one of the interesting ones, press release out from Greatland Gold, which now operates that Telfer gold mine down in Australia. This, in particular, the initial drill program on what they call the West Dome target, which has been drilled with underground drilling. 16 of the 19 holes had greater than 50 gram meter gold intercepts, which means high grade in this initial program. Very, very exciting for the geos and management. And the average of the 16 holes, grades wise, and thickness-wise came in at 23 meters at just shy of 3 grams gold and 1% copper. So definitely this is a major, separate feature to the main lode to which they are mining at Telfer. So obviously they will be getting into a second drill program pretty quickly here at this point. This mineralization already determined to be over 700 meters of strike and still open on strike and depth.
And whilst you're talking about gold, of course, we've got the gold price right now at $29.53. It's getting pretty close to that 3,000, Paul.
Yes, it is, and we got that silver price back above $32 an ounce too.
Yeah, we have. 33, I think you'll find. Although it's dodging around between about 32.99 and 33 spot 01 as we speak. Anyway, a lot of excitement there. Okay, Paul, anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, just to say there is a number of different reports out on fourth quarter and full year results from a lot of players, including gold producers like B2 Gold, Caliber Mining, and so forth. Then also want to give a quick mention to the AIM-quoted Blencowe Resources because they've completed a hydropower study for their Orem Cross graphite project in Uganda. Looking very positive there as far as both low-cost power as well as improving green credentials for that operation. And there's more than enough hydropower grid capacity available for them. So looking very good there.
All right, sounds good, Paul. We'll stop it there. You may be with Ollie tomorrow because I've got to go up to Coventry to see a company. I do get about, don't I? Very good, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.